Are we live? Are we actually live? Yeah. Anyway, pardon the uh flare or something in the lighting because I'm going to experiment for this video because surprise surprise, I don't just have one camera. This is basically a potato camera. It's a potato camera at this point. And yeah, that's why, because yeah, I have a secondary camera. This is actually the main one or the more updated one. And yeah, uh just checking out. Yep, it's um it's out there. Anyway, good morning everyone. I am Ian Riñon, an independent alternative media practitioner among other things. It's 11:06 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. That should be 03:06 UTC. So just check out your time zones uh with that reference. Anyway, still it's since it's still a morning, tara kape tayo. This is not a brood banter. It's just last week's losers and winners, but I have actually started out the series, the weekly series on a brood banter. So yeah, tara kape tayo. It's just plain black coffee and 1 teaspoon of sugar. It makes a lot of difference, and you know what? I might as well make a limit of it because yeah, it's a bit um I don't know. it's a It's too stupid to even talk about it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, I am not even sure if this setup would be feasible or practical or whatever, but I am trying my best to um how do I say this? Uh do some experiments with my content, and I've been streaming as of late because as much as I would love to make scripted content or videos, I just don't have the time at this point. I really have the time in my hands, but some most of it has been occupied by overthinking, and it kind of sucks. It really kind of sucks that I've been overthinking uh lately. So uh do spare a thought for me because yeah, it's it really is it really is a problem or an issue. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, we're gonna deal with last week's losers and winners. I acronym this show as LW squared, but the LW is within the parenthesis, and there's uh an exponent of 2 in the outside of or at the outside of that parenthesis. So if you know some basic algebra, you would understand. You would definitely understand what I have in store for you, and the reason why I uh, made that um, made that acronym. So let's get started with the losers for this um for this week. Actually, this is gonna be short because we've already tackled February 2025 in the Biglaang Live recap a few days ago, last Friday to be exact. And yeah, we're just going to tackle the what happened during the weekend. So basically, this is last weekend's losers and winners, not last week technically. But you know what? It's very hard to rebrand. So it's gonna be last week's losers and winners nonetheless. So, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, let's start off with the losers. First off, the biggest loser of this of this week or last week, if I'm rather uh is Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. Now, as far as I know, Zelensky visited Washington over the weekend, and he had a chat with US President Donald Trump. Oh my goodness. He's the president again. Okay. 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 I'm having a hard time rewiring at this point, but yeah. That's yeah, he visited um the White House to talk with Trump, and it was a shit show. It was an absolute shit show because, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, yeah, uh, something untoward happened inside the Oval Office, and it's too ugly that I really don't want to talk about it because geopolitics is complicated. Okay, it's important to talk about geopolitics, but there's a there's something in me that says, "Holy shit!" It's so complicated. It's a can of worms to even talk about geopolitics in this day and age. But here we are, racking our brains or wrapping our brains around what happened over the weekend. It's just to I don't know. It's just too stupid to even be dealing with this thing. Yeah, and actually we're gonna try three cameras, and because I'm using two right now, two laptops to stream this. The other one is basically uh the alternate camera. So I'm trying to yeah, I'm trying to alternate between the two cameras that are in this one laptop. Anyway, while I'm doing that, I really have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, that it's very talking about geopolitics is so complicated that it's just it's just nerve wracking. Okay, it's just no nerve wracking that, and it's nerve wracking, and at the same time, it's to you know, it's a shit show. Okay, what happened over the weekend was a shit show. It shouldn't have been. Uh, it shouldn't have been uh aired, or let's just say it shouldn't have been um uh shown. uh it shouldn't have been shown in the first place. The meeting uh should have been done behind closed doors. But then again, this is Trump's America, so um yeah, it kind of sucks that it happens, but yeah. uh I'm back to the other camera. So I actually used a very old potato stream or potato quality camera. And I'm I'm currently experimenting on a lot of things regarding the setup that I have, but there's a possibility that I might use this laptop at the center, and then I'll use this the one that I'll just exchange places with this or I'll try to exchange places with this laptop. I don't know, but mm, it really yeah, it's just unfortunate that we have to uh we have to witness this kind of shit show in in terms of geopolitics, and there's a lot of things that's geopolitic, a lot of geopolitical things that is really happening in the past few weeks, months, years, and even decades. But yeah, one of the biggest losers last week was Volodymyr Zelensky. But that also means, but that does not mean that Donald Trump won, because on the diplomatic side of things, it's too complicated. It's a can of worms, and uh, a lot of bickering and a lot of commentary has been spewed out in the over the weekend. I really don't want to uh, read and analyze every single one of them, but the bottom line here is that Volodymyr Zelensky is the biggest loser over the of last week, and yeah, uh, many of the unknowns are actually um, the country Zelensky is leading, Ukraine, as well as the United States, Europe, the NATO alliance, and perhaps even China, because you know, uh China is allied with Russia. Russia is at war with Ukraine, and all of that geopolitical web just interlapping with each other. It's uh as I said, it's a shit show, okay? So you really have to lock yourself in if you want to understand the full context. And as someone who has been you know someone who has been uh interested with geopolitics, but not necessarily have been academically trained for that shit, because I'm more into pop culture than geopolitics, although uh I find the connection between both of them. It just racks your brain. It's really you know it's really hard to talk about this without having a lot of words to say. So so much for the Russo-Ukrainian war and everything that's involved in it. The other losers that we had last week are the users of Skype, because if you haven't watched the live stream that I made last Saturday, I tackled about Skype uh, shutting down in May. So maybe I can share you the live stream itself here, so you can watch it after the fact, because I'm that considerate of you, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. So yeah, should be it should be this. Come on. It should be this. I'm just trying to share it to you. Yeah, right. That's the not really deep dive, but swimming water level depth of a dive for both Skype shutting down in May, as well as more commentary regarding Command and Conquer Generals Zero Hour in particular, because that game and several other titles in the Command and Conquer series have been um, has released updates. I mean, EA Games is just winning this. Actually, I forgot to even talk about EA Games being a winner for last week, but here we are, and we'll deal with EA Games later. But yeah, I think EA Games is one of the winners last week, because they are, you know, they're putting triple A game publishers to shame, because yeah, uh they had the balls to interact with their community regarding their game, specifically the Command and Conquer series. So yeah, it puts AAA game publishers to shame after years of having bullshit games and bullshit takes regarding games and all of the n- all of the political and ideological BS that has been infiltrating the games industry. So yeah, I guess it's a good day to be a gamer regarding that. So that's a good idea. Now, another loser for this week is actually Filipino heritage advocates, because uh if you're living under a rock, ABS-CBN is ABS-CBN has sold its historic, at least three-fourths of its headquarters in Manila. So let's just say this move was triggered by the Kapamilya shutdown back in 2020, and unfortunately, part of the 3 hectares that was sold to Ayala Land, because ABS-CBN sold part of its property to Ayala Land, and it would consolidate its operations in the remaining 1.4 hectares. Uh, Basically, part of the property that was sold to Ayala Land is its historic core. So basically, the original broadcasting center plus the transmitter, that's the one that's part of the that's part of the it's um part of the property that was sold to Ayala Land, if I am not mistaken, and given the pessimistic messaging, or pessimistic um tack of some heritage advocates, it seems that the fate of EBS-CBN's historical core is that facing the wrecking ball. So uh it's gonna be demolished alongside the transmitter. I'm not sure if the transmitter would be spared, but the broadcasting center, the historic core of the broadcasting center, would be demolished, allegedly. But uh, it's here's to me hoping against hope that Ayala Land would consider uh, preserving that historical core, at least that building and the transmitter, and converting that into a museum. Uh, because the National Historical Commission of the Philippines has already provided, or uh, bestowed on that building, bestowed a historical marker, or provided a historical marker on that building. So Ayala Land would have to consult with NHCP about the future use of that building. And again, it's part of media history, and as someone who has a background in media, it's such a shame if it's gonna face the wrecking ball without some kind of preservation, or you know remnants, like what the University of Santo Tomas did to the old gymnasium, because the Buenaventura Garcia Paredes building, or BG Pop building in UST, this is near the chapel. During my time there, uh the gymnasium was demolished, but it kept its facade. It kept its The university kept the facade as the main entrance to the building. So that means, even though that building is already a different one, uh, at the very least, it preserved the facade of the old gymnasium. And I'm not sure if ABS-CBN and Ayala Land would consider that approach. But do let me know in the comments below, or if you're listening or watching right now in the chat, if um if what I said was plausible. That at the very least, the building itself would be spared, or the historic building would be spared and would be repurposed as a museum, and then the other parts of the property that was sold to Ayala Land could be redeveloped into something else. So, uh, uh, you know, it's still I'm still hoping against hope that it would be considered as such, because a lot of employees and journalists affiliated to the Kapamilya Network, in one way or another, are are sharing their bittersweet moments or their bittersweet thoughts regarding the building. And yeah, it's such a shame if it's gonna be torn down unceremoniously. So, uh, uh, you know, here's to me hoping some kind of a compromise would be some kind of a compromise would be uh thought about, if that's the case. So yeah, those are the losers this week. I've already told about the unknowns, because yeah, geopolitics is complicated and space is hard. But then again, one of the big winners this week, or at least this weekend, was Firefly Aerospace. And ladies and gentlemen of the internet, we are so back on the moon. Humanity is back on the moon. Actually, there are already a lot of recent lunar landings, but you know, most of them are from China and India, because India also landed a spacecraft on the moon. They already attempted once, but then again it failed. So in 2023 or 24, they tried again, and they successfully landed. But the United States hasn't have uh, a lunar mission that succeeded, a recent lunar mission that succeeded in landing on the moon. But because of Firefly Aerospace, which happens to be also the very first commercial space company to land, um, to put a spacecraft on the moon, on the surface of the moon, after 70, 60, 70 years, is a huge achievement. It's basically Uncle Sam is back on the moon. And yeah, uh oops. Yeah, I forgot. It should be the button. So, as I said, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, yeah, Firefly landed their spacecraft on the moon, and it's just the first one. Okay, there will be at least two more uh landers that are on their way in the moon. I think the other one is set to land in a few days time. So it's an exciting it's a very exciting next few days for people who are space fans. And come to think of it, SpaceX is flying their Starship again, their flight test, after that disastrous flight 7 back in, I think, January. Yeah, I think it was January. Yeah. They're back, and hopefully they would stick the landing and not blow up this time. So yeah. I really hope that that would be sorted. I think the launch attempt for Starship would open tomorrow here in the Philippines. Tomorrow Philippine Standard Time. It's around tomorrow morning Philippine Standard Time. That's late evening US Central Time. So yeah, that's that's something that I have to anticipate. So yeah, another big winner for this week is the Roman Catholic Diocese of Balanga. Basically the Catholic diocese that encompasses the civil province of Bataan here in the Philippines, because they just uh they just had their new bishop. His name is Rufino Sescon Jr. He is the former rector of the Minor Basilica and National Shrine of Jesus Nazareno in Quiapo, Manila, and he had his episcopal consecration last week, and his consecrators were all former bishops of Balanga. You have Archbishop Socrates Villegas of Lingayen Dagupan, Cubao Bishop Emeritus Honesto Ongtioco, who was the Bishop of Balanga before he became the Bishop of Cubao for his um basically for the rest of his ecclesiastical career before he retired at the age of 75, and the current Bishop of Antipolo, Ruperto Santos, who is basically Bishop Sescon's direct predecessor. So it's a poignant thing, or it's a poignant ceremony or liturgy to have three former bishops of Balanga consecrating you as the new bishop of that province, or of that diocese. And the juxtapositionings and the subtle Easter eggs were very much appreciated, because first of all, Bishop Sescon chose the cross the cross that is depicted in the image of the Jesus Nazareno as his pectoral cross. So that's a good that's a good let's just say good touch on that. Secondly, uh he had his farewell mass as rector of Quiapo Church as his first mass as bishop. So after he got consecrated, the next day he offered mass in Quiapo Church as his Thanksgiving mass. So that's also a good touch. The chalice that was used for for the ordination mass was linked to the Archbishop of Manila that was linked to the Archbishop of Manila that ordered the transfer of the image of the Nazareno from Intramuros to Quiapo Church. So uh, it's a good thing that that chalice is still uh, has survived the Second World War and was used for that mass. That's a good thing. And finally, it all the episcopal consecration of Bishop Sescon was was highlighted by the crozier, or the episcopal staff, or the pastoral staff, because it goes a long way. That crozier was originally used by Haro Archbishop Jose Maria Cuenco, and he gave that to Jaime Cardinal Sin when he was consecrated as coadjutor bishop of Haro. When he succeeded Cuenco, became the Archbishop of Haro, and then he brought that crozier to Manila when he was appointed Archbishop of Manila. Then Cardinal Sin, in his later years, consecrated Archbishop Villegas, as auxiliary bishop of Manila during that time, and he gave that crozier to Archbishop Villegas, and he said on record that that crozier meant a lot for him, and now that he has consecrated Bishop Sescon to the episcopacy, the succession, or the crozier, is basically their touch point, not only in history but also apostolic succession. That that crozier was from Cardinal Sin's mentor, and then Cardinal Sin had it for some time. Then Cardinal Sin gave it to Archbishop Villegas, and now Archbishop Villegas is giving that crozier to Bishop Sescon. I mean, if that is not a good representation of what apostolic succession is in Catholic theology, I don't know what is. Okay, so it's a good thing that the Diocese of Balanga now has a bishop after around 2 years of being sede vacante. So that's good. That's good. And all the more because the diocese is celebrating its 50th anniversary of its erection as a separate diocese. So that's a good idea. And finally, um I said that EA Games is one of the big winners because they are you know having or keeping in touch with their fan base and their community. And it's a good idea to actually to uh talk with um or have conversations with those who have been playing the games that you have developed. Well, technically, EA Games bought the IP for Command and Conquer from Westwood Studios. So I think Generals was the first ever Generals title that was exclusively developed by EA. I'm not sure if it's Generals or Renegade, the first person shooter, but either way, um, you know, uh, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing that EA Games is doing this. I've already explained this in depth during my during the Saturday live stream that in this day and age when the political and culture there's a political and cultural shift in not just politics, there's a shift not just in politics but also in pop culture and in the field of games. uh it's refreshing to hear news regarding game developers and publishers, um to put it frankly, touching some grass regarding their fan base. And it's really really um you know it's really great to see. And as someone who plays generals myself, I'm looking forward to m- uh to more mods now that the source code for General Zero Hour has been made public. So yeah, uh, they are the biggest one of the biggest winners. So I would like to raise a toast. Yeah, I would like to raise a toast to everyone who has been the win who are the winners of who are last week's winners. And also would like to raise a toast to those who became the biggest losers, because yeah, um you know at least you did something. You made me make this video, you know uh I'm doing stories regarding this thing, and yeah, uh it's refreshing to see. So with that said, uh congratulations, and you did your best. And here's to more of last week's winners and losers and winners for the next few weeks. Cheers. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but I would just like to tell you that, you know, uh this is one final reminder that Lent is upon us. This week will be there would be Ash Wednesday. So tomorrow would be Shrove Tuesday. So if you would like to do a mukbang or eat out or pig out your way, so that you can enjoy one last time before Lent, do so. It's not recommended, but you know, if you're gonna fast on Ash Wednesday, you might as well, you might as well have one last huzzah to all the food that you're not supposed to eat on Ash Wednesday. So that's that. Anyway, I've been rambling for almost an hour now. I need to get out of here. So with all that said, this is Intrepid Antonyon reminding you to at all times be the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Until then, look alive, stay alive, be kind to yourself and to each other. And as always, thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Uh, I've been live streaming, and I hope to be streaming more videos like this, and in order to balance out my content, because I've been doing recorded stuff, and I need to hone my my hosting skills too. So uh here's to that. Anyway, from here in Intrepid HQ, from both of the camera angles that I have, let me share that to you one last time. Yeah. From here in Intrepid HQ, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Ian out.